President Buhari summons extraordinary security meeting following rising spate of insecurity in parts of the country.
At the end of it, recommend innovative, practical solutions that can help to relieve us of our present national security and challenges.
House inaugurates special committee on national security.
The essence of this is to see how more lives can be saved, advised to encourage Nigerians to donate blood.
Life-saving synergy. FRSC joins forces with the National Blood Transfusion Services to boost voluntary blood donation. Good evening and thanks for joining us on NTA Network News tonight. I am Jummai Yusuf. Adiola Kami Akere joins us from Lagos and Felicia Dialov Samaila will join us from our Just studio later. The extraordinary meeting summoned by President Muhammadu Buhari on national security is to reconvene on Tuesday. The National Security Advisor Babagana Mongono, who announced this in a statement, made it clear that the president is prepared to take profound measures in the wider interests of the Nigerian people. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that the meeting is critically analyzing the prevailing challenges of security bedeviling the country.
The crucial meeting was convened in response to the renewed attacks in parts of the country by insurgents, bandits and other criminal elements undermining national security. President Muhammadu Buhari, who summoned the meeting, is seriously worried over the deteriorating security situation and is determined to do everything within his power towards finding lasting solutions. At the meeting were Vice President Yemi Oshibanjo, Chief of Staff to the President, Secretary to the Governor of the Federation, Ministers of Defense, Interior and Police Affairs, as well as the National Security Advisor. Others include the service chiefs led by the Chief of Defense Staff, the Acting Inspector General of Police, Directors General, Department of State Services and the National Intelligence Agency, as well as Chief of Defense Intelligence. Participants extensively debated the worrisome security situation, challenges associated with containment efforts, and what needs to be done urgently to restore peace, law and order across Nigeria. The meeting reconvenes on Tuesday next week. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Worried by the spate of kidnapping in Kaduna, the State Security Council has convened an emergency meeting to fashion out more workable strategies of rescuing kidnapped victims and containing the act. Mohammed Umar Anjigi tells us more.
Records presented to the State Security Council members indicate that a total of more than 949 persons, including minors and women, were kidnapped at various locations across Kaduna State between January and now. Governor Nasir Ahmad El-Rufai says it was high time to stop politicizing security issues.
The bandits are getting bolder by the day, inching closer and moving from rural communities even to urban communities. Our schools are being attacked and the students being executed by these bandits. In Greenfield University, we've lost 5 students that were killed in cold blood by these evil people. We still have 29 students of Federal College of Mechanization, Afaka, in custody. And by the grace of God, if we all come together, work together, collaborate together, and pray for God's guidance, we'll get out of this.
The state government remains committed to sustaining strategies of addressing security challenges facing the state, particularly kidnapping. The quarterly security report reveals that in spite of this ugly development, security agencies are recording successes against the bandits, with about 64 suspects neutralized, while arms and several rounds of ammunition have been recovered. In Kaduna, I am Muhammad Umar Ajingi, NTA News.
Meanwhile, following recent insistent attacks, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Ibrahim Attairu, was in Maiduguri, the Borno state capital, to reassure troops of the President's commitment to their welfare and provision of equipment to end the Boko Haram crisis. The sustained visit to the headquarters Theatre Command Operation Lafia Dole by the Corps is also part of efforts at rebuilding the resilience of troops on the war front. Maimuna Garba reports.
The frequent visit by Chief of Army Staff Lieutenant General Ibrahim Attairu to the Northeast Theatre of War is to keep in touch with troops on the front line and boost their morale to enable them effectively execute the counter-insurgency operations. General Attairu reiterated the military's continued resolve to contain the security challenges not only in Operation Lafia Dole but across all the theaters in the country, stressing the President's commitment to providing the needed resources to address the insecurity. Reacting to Mainok attack last Sunday, the Chief of Army Staff said the military is focused on its operations.
Well, in a military operation is a duel. We have defeated Boko Haram severally. If for one time they came and we lose certain equipments, even though we were never defeated, I can assure you that we'll overcome, notwithstanding whatever had happened. We will take on Boko Haram decisively.
The Chief of Army Staff and top commanders Operation Lafia Dole held a closed-door meeting where Theatre Commander Major General Farouk Yahaya briefed him on the counter-insurgency war. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Ibrahim Attairu, later visited wounded soldiers receiving treatment at 7th Division Hospital, where he commended their gallantry, assuring them of the military's support at all times. In Maiduguri, Maimuna Garba, NTA News.
Still talking security, the House of Representatives has set up a special committee on national security with a mandate to come up with recommendations to address prevailing security challenges in the country. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports.
40-member Special Security Committee, chaired by the House Speaker Femi Gbajabiamila, is to work with other stakeholders to articulate solutions that will respond effectively to challenges of insecurity in Nigeria. At the inauguration, the Speaker said a conference will be convened next month to enable comprehensive study of all issues pertaining to national security.
At the end of it, recommend innovative, practical solutions that can help to relieve us of our present national security and challenges. We must recognize the need to proceed with caution and wisdom so that as we respond to existing problems, we do not further compound them or create new difficulties.
In another development, the newly created House Committee on Safety Standards and Regulation has held its inaugural sitting.
We will fashion out additional legislative ways and means to innovate safety as seen in other climes. As our nation urgently needs mechanism for investing in safety in a sustainable way.
The committee is mandated to oversight public and private organizations to ensure adherence to safety as places of work. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
Nigerian Navy's newest offshore survey vessel, NNS Lana, departed Las Palmas, Spain for Banjul, Gambia on the third leg of its homeward voyage to Nigeria this morning. Nigerian Navy recently took delivery of the vessel in France, being the first ever purpose-built offshore survey vessel as a replacement for the old NNS Lana decommissioned about 10 years ago. It is designed and purposely built to enable the Nigerian Navy conduct hydrographic and oceanographic surveys. It is also capable of conducting geophysical studies, search and rescue operations, as well as patrol duties. The state-of-the-art ship is equipped with modern survey equipment. It has maximum speed of 14 knots and a capacity of 50 crew. The Acting Inspector General of Police, Usman Alkali Baba, has ordered the posting of Christopher Owalabi as the new Commissioner of Police in charge of Anambra State Police Command. A statement by the force indicates that the deployment of the new CP is part of the ongoing efforts at reordering, overhauling and strengthening the security and policing architecture in Anambra State and other states of the Southeast and South-South geopolitical zones of the country. Similarly, the acting IGP has ordered the posting of two deputy commissioners of police, 14 assistant commissioners of police, and other strategic and tactical commanders within the zones. Meanwhile, the acting IGP enjoins the people of South-East and South-South region to cooperate with the police and other security agencies in the task of safeguarding lives and property. The presidency says only outsiders would be surprised by the sudden change and attack on President Buhari by Father Mbaka, who before now had supported him. A statement from the senior special assistant to the president on media and publicity, Garba Shehu, explains that Father Mbaka had, during a meeting that was supposed to be between only him and the president, brought 3 contractors and requested for contract as compensation for his support. The president directed that due process should be followed through appropriate authorities. Due to the inappropriate request, the issue was kept from the public. Mr. President's insistence on abiding by laid-down rules in dealing with contract or any other government business for that matter is responsible for the latest position of Father Mbaka. The commander, Nigerian Navy ship Lugard Commodore Clement Ebinta Atebi, has restated the command's commitment to protecting Nigeria's waterways to stem the activities of criminals along the coast of the River Niger. This was while parading 2 suspects of crude oil theft arrested by the command and handed over to the state commander of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps in Lokoja, Kogi State. Correspondent Solomon Ayedehin reports.
The 2 suspects, Kelechi Emezin and Adamu Mohammed, while confessing to the crime, explained that they were contracted in Port Harcourt, River State, to load the 304 bags of liquid substance suspected to be black oil into a boat en route Lokoja by one Dan Asabe, who is currently at large.
I was told that it's Kulota. That is why I followed my friend. He's the one that told me that the man called him to come and offload goods. So that is why I'm begging God to help me.
Commander NNS Lugard Lokoja, Commodore Clement Ebinta Atebi, who described the crime as a crude oil theft, said the 2 suspects were arrested along the coast of River Niger near Itobe in the eastern flank of Kogi State when offloading the illegal substance.
I sent my officers and men on patrol of the River Niger, and then they were able to run into these criminals. It is no longer business as usual.
The newly deployed NNS Lugard commander warned criminal elements and their cohorts operating along the coast of River Niger to refrain or face the wrath of the law. He also advised Nigerian youths to channel their energy positively for sustainable development of the country. The suspects have been handed over to the State Command, Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, for prosecution. In Lokoja, Solomon Ayedehin, NTA News.
NAFDAC approves Pfizer Biotech COVID-19 vaccine, and find out why it pays to subscribe to StarTimes after these messages. Do stay. You're welcome back. The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, has approved the emergency use of Pfizer Biotech COVID-19 vaccine in Nigeria. Director General of the agency, Professor Mojisola Adeye, disclosed this to newsman Haman Jabani reports.
The Director General of the agency, Mojisola Adeye, announced the decision during a virtual meeting, explaining that the agency has carried out all the necessary steps before reaching the conclusion while considering storage fears.
Pfizer BioNTech, we've given the approval for emergency use authorization. Emergency use authorization. It is not a full approval, and it is within the period of starting of getting people vaccinated and gathering data about the adverse events following immunization. Primary health has the capability. It is no longer ultra low temperature. However, once it is getting out of the freezer, you can only return it to the freezer once. After that, you have to use it.
As to the data gathered over the use of AstraZeneca vaccine, the DG has this to say.
We have just started gathering the data, We call it cohort event monitoring, where you look at immunogenicity, reactogenicity, and start tracking and tracing the antibodies.
With the near conclusion of the first dose of the vaccine, over 1.5 million Nigerians have been successfully vaccinated. Hamman Jabani, NTA News.
The Federal Road Safety Corps is partnering with the National Blood Transfusion Service on mass awareness campaign for voluntary blood donation. The Corps Marshal Federal Road Safety Corps says this becomes necessary as a step in saving more lives, especially of those involved in road traffic crash on the highways. Oyeyemi Ajayi has details.
This visit to the office of the Federal Road Safety Corps is part of the voluntary blood donation campaign of the National Blood Transfusion Service in order to create a seamless process where victims are not stranded when looking for necessary blood products needed to save their loved ones, as lack of blood at the blood bank has been said to be a major cause of deaths once road crashes occur.
The essence of this is to see how more lives can be saved, to launch an aggressive campaign, to advise and advisory, to encourage Nigerians to donate blood, so that when victims of road traffic crashes are taken to the hospital, the issue of blood is not the key issue.
The National Coordinator, National Blood Transfusion Service, lamented low public awareness of voluntary blood donation in Nigeria, which is said to be due to non-voluntary blood donation culture. Also, reiterated why a robust awareness campaign will help ameliorate the present challenges.
When the safe blood and blood products are not available, the condition can be life-threatening and can result in death. Therefore, timely access to safe blood and the optimal use of such products are essential for health system strengthening and the achievement of universal health care, and therefore contribute to the 3 billion goals as defined in the World Health Organization's 13th General Program of Work.
The FRC Corps Marshal advocated the need for the establishment of a formidable database blood donors to enhance accessibility of blood, particularly when confronted with emergencies. In Abuja, Oyeyemi Ajayi, NTA News.
Meanwhile, in its quest towards complementing government efforts and initiatives in providing healthcare for all, the Road Transport Employees Association of Nigeria launched a special health insurance scheme for drivers and passengers in the country. The initiative, tagged Travelers Accident Insurance Scheme, is to provide immediate, effective and efficient healthcare services to accident victims.
The health insurance scheme, which is the first of its kind for drivers and passengers, will provide immediate response to accident victims in case of any eventuality while plying the roads across the country. It also covers cost of medication, hospitalization, income stoppage allowance in case of total incapacitation, and death benefit in case of fatality, among others. Rothin National Executive President Musa Muhammad Maitokwabi says over the years, drivers and passengers became victims of circumstance in the event of an accident due to lack of funds for treatment, which in some cases resulted to total incapacitation or loss of life, a situation he stressed must be addressed.
Today, we fulfilled on our obligation as mentioned in our Constitution, Article 3G, to ensure complete welfare of the passenger and the safety of their luggage.
If we all come together as a team, we would be able to address the incidents that we found in the road today.
Let us rebuild our land transport so that we can take care of our passengers, we can have good vehicles, we can do proper insurance, and we can make life easy for passengers.
The initiative, which stakeholders says is commendable, will go a long way in bridging the gap in assessing healthcare provision for accident victims in the country. In Abuja, Omeka Amrachuku, NTA News.
Now let's bring you up to speed with other news. The federal government has reiterated commitment towards providing adequate housing for civil servants across the country. Minister of Works and Housing Babatunde Fashola assured the people while inspecting the housing estate at Onidudung in Akinyele local government area of Oyo State. Shola Wahid has the details.
72 units of Onidudung housing estate contain 1 bedroom, 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms of detached and semi-detached units. The minister, while inspecting the houses, charged contractors handling the construction work to speed up completion for people to occupy the buildings to ease the challenges of accommodation.
With regards to housing, we need to give something more. People are falling behind on their rent. People are facing eviction because they cannot pay rent and so on and so forth. There are sadly empty houses also. In the midst of plenty, there is scarcity. So we think that if individuals who own the houses, private sector who own the houses, reduce the demand for 3 years, 4 years, 2 years rent, it's a way of giving back.
He explained that more housing units will be provided at strategic locations in the country for the benefits of the people. In Ibadan, Shola Wahid, NTA News.
The Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, has clarified that the revenue projection contained in the letter to the Accountant General of the Federation being cited in the media pertains only to the Federation revenue stream being managed by the corporation and not a reflection of the overall financial performance of the corporation. A press statement by the corporation spokesperson, Dr. Kene Obatiru, stated that the clarification became necessary in the light of media reports insinuating that the corporation was in financial difficulty. NNPC maintains that it is conscious of its role and was doing everything possible to shore up revenues and support the Federation at all times. The shortfall, he said, will be remedied by the corporation as it only relates to the Federation revenue stream being managed by the NNPC and does not reflect the overall financial performance of the corporation. The NNPC remains in positive financial trajectory for the period in question, it stated. The corporation pledged to continue to pursue and observe its cost optimization process with a view to maximizing remittance to the Federation account. It would be recalled that NNPC, in a letter to the Accountant General of the Federation entitled Impact of Hike in Crude Oil Prices on the deregulated downstream sector, projected remittance to the Federation account from April to June 2021, which was inappropriately shared by unscrupulous persons, projecting that it would deduct the sum of 112 billion from oil and gas proceeds for the month of April 2021 to ensure continuous supply of petroleum products to the country and guarantee energy security. The Niger Delta Development Commission's effort to turn its fortunes on an upward trajectory will birth an era of diversification and sustainable economic development. Governor of Ondo State, Oluwarotimi Akeredolu, stated this when the NDDC interim administrator, Mr. Effiong Akwa, led a team of the Commission's management to Government House, Akure. Oshinachi Abraham completes the story.
Visit as part of the ongoing stakeholders engagement is both to acknowledge the strategic importance of Akeredolu's government to the development of Niger Delta and to strengthen the existing relationship between NDDC and Ondo State.
We today also, as part of activities which I have briefed you, we spoke together. We are going to visit electricity station in Okitipupa, because I have been reliably informed that that local government in Okitipupa, Ilaje, and other places have remained in darkness for so long, and you have informed me that this is your desire. This is the desire of the state to make sure that the people have good light.
Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu commended Akwa-led NDDC management for vigorously engaging critical stakeholders towards developing the Niger Delta region. The execution of 132 power substation that would provide electricity for over 2,000 communities in the southern part of the state, among all the giant tribes.
What we want to now do is to appreciate NDDC under your watch. This is a new era under Effiong Akwa.
The interim administrator also donated waste disposal trucks to the Ondo State government to assist in its effort to improve the sanitary condition of the state. NDDC has earlier donated some medical equipment to the state. From Akure, Osinachi Abraham, NTA.
The NTA StarTimes is rewarding loyalty and patronage as it reaches out to customers with different reward packages in the spirit of the Ramadan period. Abdurrahman Usman Jibrila reports that beneficiaries were randomly selected from customers' premises.
Priestley Osiosefe, a cleric, and Usman Aliyu, a trader, are both StarTimes subscribers in the FCT for many years. Their loyalty and patronage were instantly rewarded as StarTimes keys into the spirit of Ramadan fast. The beneficiaries, just like Priestley and Usman, are excited that the unexpected gesture will motivate and enhance patronage of StarTimes.
I've turned a marketer because like two of my person very close to me, they use StarTimes.
They in the StarTimes because StarTimes is actually good and the service is very, very okay.
We really, and everybody in the house there, we enjoyed it. Even there was a time we wanted to change it. No, StarTimes is the best.
The humanitarian intervention StarTimes says is to assist subscribers observing the Ramadan fast and cushion economic hardship.
Accessibility, StarTimes stands out. We are known for constantly improving our content platform so that every subscriber can enjoy, because a lot of variety is the spice of life. Everybody has a particular content that they enjoy, and StarTimes keeps on increasing its content.
Satisfied Priestley and others seem not only to be getting value for their patronage of StarTimes, but also reward for their choice. In Abuja, Abdurrahman Usman Jibrila, NTA News.
FCT Minister Malam Muhammad Musa Bello says the University of Abuja has continued to play a very significant role in the development and growth of Abuja, capital city. The minister, who stated this when he received members of the University of Abuja visitation team, maintained that substantial number of staff with the ministry and agencies have improved on their education due to its proximity, thereby enhancing service delivery. Ifeanyi Ezumba has details.
The City of Abuja is one of the institutions that the FCT is proud of because of its close link with the administration and the growth of the city through its numerous courses. FCT Minister Malam Muhammad Musa Bello affirmed that a number of occasions FCT administration technical team had partnered with the university in order to solve specific issues, particularly things to do with land and other matters.
So we believe, looking at the caliber of your team, and of course, based on your antecedents, I'm sure you will do a very good job of reviewing the situation of the university.
We have about 9 terms of reference ranging from issues relating to governance, accountability, evaluation of the recommendations of the last visitation panel to the university, as well as looking into the working relationship in the university and its host community.
The visitation exercise is a fact-finding one. Critical part of the assignment before the panel include an objective examination of the university. In Abuja, Ifeanyi Ezumba, NT News.
Revival of ethics values of the Nigerian people will go a long way in addressing the present insecurity bedeviling all parts of the country. This was the consensus at the launch of a book titled The Ethical Dilemma, charting a bold and new path for ethics and values in Nigeria. David Arrow reports.
The launch of the book is a clarion call for the entire society to return to the days when men had respect and sanctity for norms, ethics, and values of the people. Guests at the launch said it will also bring back the old order when parents would leave their children under the care of neighbors and go to the farm without fear about their safety. People would get to a shop, pick an item, and drop the money without cheating, despite the absence of the shop owner.
The problem with the ethical conduct in this country is not, to me, from the leadership, it's from the people. Everything starts from the base.
We teach our children, our own children, not even people who work with us now, our own children. We teach them these basic values and they imbibe them. Then we're beginning to change the society.
The values that you don't build institutions and societies without ethics and values. When you do that, the spirit of team building will come in.
The 189-page book made recommendations including proper upbringing of children from the nuclear society, up to how good governance and leadership can be achieved to address insecurity in the country.
The approach is identifying where we started, how good we were in the 60s, in the 70s, all the programs that have been done by governments to be able to reorientate us where we are is a process and where we should be going. That is what we have done.
The presentation also marked the 60th birthday of the author. In Abuja, David Irie, NTA News.
It's time to join our Lagos Network Center, where Adiola is standing by to give us the latest from Lagos. Hello, Adiola.
Hello, Jumai. Good to see you. As part of efforts to flatten the curve of COVID-19 and also ensure quality health care to residents irrespective of socio-economic status, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has commissioned additional oxygen plant and blood transfusion service office at Bagada General Hospital in Lagos. Musa Toliat reports.
The medical oxygen plant commissioned is targeted at complementing the already existing 10 oxygen plants in the state. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu said the project is part of the robust transformation plan to enhance infrastructural development in the health sector.
Although these critical facilities were set up to effectively address the challenges posed by COVID-19 pandemic, they have become a critical resource and component of our health sector infrastructure that will cater for the health challenges that not only related to COVID, but all of the health issues that we have in the state.
We have a shortage of blood in Lagos, so by making this place the headquarters of the blood transfusion center, we repurposed the facility that was developed for COVID, and that's been our strategy.
The plant has capacity to produce 100 bottles of oxygen cylinders in a day. The governor also commissioned a triage and oxygen center and blood transfusion service. Governor Sanwo-Olu hinted that as part of the health transformation plan, 5 general hospitals are currently being renovated simultaneously across the state. In Lagos, Musa Toliat, NTA News.
Now, care for widows and orphans is an integral part of the Islamic faith, which enhances the well-being of the faithful and the pathway to Al-Jannah. This was the focus at the Ramadan lecture organized by the Muslim community of Nigerian Police Zone 2 Command in Lagos. Imolia Yotokede Ogunfowora reports.
Ramadan is the 9th month in Islamic calendar in which Muslims are commanded to observe obligatory fasts. In this blessed month, the faithful is enjoined to carry out good deeds and step up charitable acts to maximize rewards from Allah. Scholars at the Ramadan lecture emphasized that care for the orphan is mentioned 22 times in the Quran, and that anyone who maltreats such a person commits what is considered serious sin in Islam.
Allah says in the verse of the Quran, وَيَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنِ الْيَتَامَى. They are asking you regarding the orphans. Then tell them, إِصْلَاحُ لَهُمْ خَيْرٌ. Doing things in their best interest is the best.
Assistant Inspector General of Police in charge of Zone 2, Ahmed Ilyasu, encouraged Muslim faithful to be steadfast and promote peaceful coexistence during and after the month of Ramadan.
We'll continue to do our best. We'll continue to look after the orphans, the widows, and those who are in need of help, who are sick. The young and the small children who have lost their fathers, these are the orphans, even those who have grown up.
In accordance with Islamic injunction, widows of police officers smiled home with gifts to alleviate their plight.
It was a surprise to us, and I pray that it is their hand they will use to collect their entitlement.
As the Ramadan fast continues, the AIG is charging police officers to be selfless, committed to duty, and brace up to fight insecurity in the country. In Lagos, Imole Ayotokede Ogunfowora, NTA News.
And not done from Lagos, Abolade Salame is standing by for business news. Hello, Abolade.
Thank you so much, Adiola. Good evening and welcome to the business news segment.
The federal government is committed to the expansion of the non-oil sector and diversification of the economy, despite challenges posed to exports by the COVID-19 pandemic. Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, said this while inaugurating the new non-executive members of the board of the Nigerian Export-Import Bank, NEXIM, in Abuja. She reaffirmed federal government's commitment to enhance funding intervention to boost productivity and exports from critical sectors like manufacturing and agriculture.
The setting of NEXIM is the desire to make the bank a significant player in the Nigerian non-oil export sector and other economic revitalization programs as encapsulated in the Economic Recovery and Growth Plan and its successor National Development Plan, the Nigeria Agenda 2050.
Managing Director of the NEXIM Bank, Abba Bello, assures that promoting and attracting the private sector to achieve increased export is top on the agenda.
With the continued support of the government through the Federal Ministry of Finance, we are going to take NEXIM to the next level with such experienced hands coming onto our board, and we commit the deliverables that you have mentioned, and also what our statutory role is.
Stock equities. The Nigerian equity market close today in positive territory, gaining 0.94%. Here is the report. The bull was able to pull its strength over the bear after close of Friday's trading as the market inched up by 0.95%, with an all-share index of 39,834.42 basis points. Volume of shares stood at 328 million, valued at 3.1 billion naira, which exchanged hands in 4,388 deals, and a market capitalization of 20.8 trillion naira. Market breadth closed positive as Rogalins led on the table, appreciating by 0.03%, followed by Realex and Boa Cement, gaining 0.04% and 5.2%. Meanwhile, NCR depreciated by 0.25%, while Van Leer and Sona Assurance dropped by 0.65% and 0.06%. On the activity chart, NSE Consumer Goods, Industrial, Insurance, and Oil and Gas posted gains, appreciating by 0.03%, 2.37%, 0.86%, and 0.10%, while NSE Banking declined in figures by 0.24%. Does it on business news. Juma in Abuja will be back with the rest of the news after this short time out. Please do stay with us.
You are watching NTA Network News, and you can get more news and updates on www.nta.ng or follow us on our Twitter handle at NTA News Now. You can also like us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/NTA Network News. Stay connected and subscribe to our YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/NTA News Online. Also remember to watch our news live streaming at www.nta.ng/live. Felicia is in Jos with more reports on NTA Network News tonight. Hello, Felicia. It's good to see you.
Hello, Jumai. Good to see you too, and welcome to Jos. Minister of Health, Dr. Osage Hanuri, says collective effort is key in improving the health sector in the face of daunting global challenges. He stated this during his visit to Jos University Teaching Hospital. Belkis Anu has details.
Dr. Ehaneri inaugurated a molecular biology laboratory, which is an all-encompassing laboratory for all kinds of tests. The minister visited the intensive care unit and the multi-drug resistant units. At the in vitro fertilization center, Dr. Ehaneri was taken round by the head of the unit, who informed him that the center became functional last year and has successfully delivered 3 sets of babies. Dr. Ehaneri acknowledged the effort of management and staff of JUT, especially during the trying times which has affected every sphere of life.
We have also been proactive in many ways that we have experienced much worse.
But we know that this problem is not over. And we need to be on our guard.
The tariff of the teaching hospitals or the hospitals should be looked into so that we will not transfer the cost of this to the patients. Because if we don't, we will not be able to sustain services. So recruitment of staff is usually very tedious. If some of the waivers can be waived for teaching hospitals to recruit staff, that would be great.
This is the first visit of the Minister of Health to Jute in Jos. Bilkis Nuhu, NTA News.
Contractor handling the construction of NUJ Secretariat Jos has been directed to ensure speedy completion to enhance their performance. Governor Simon Lalong was speaking while inspecting progress of work at the Secretariat. Priscilla Grumnan reports.
Governor Simon Lalong, who was conducted round the project, said he is determined to complete and inaugurate the NUJ Press Center. He expressed satisfaction with the level of work and pledged to make available resources for speedy completion of the project.
I was here in 2014, first, before I became governor. But this was where I had one of my best interviews before I became governor, and I made a lot of promises how I was going to work with you. When I became governor, I've been working with you. I want to also do this and I thank you in appreciation because you have also been supporting the government. We are ways of representatives and many of the things that you have done. You cannot work without the press.
Commissioner for Information and Communication Dan Manjang and that of Housing and Urban Development Bitru Zulfa appreciated the governor for having the interest of journalists at heart. Vice Chairman of the Plateau State Council of the NUJ, Ayuku Paspo, thanked Governor Lalong for giving journalists enabling environment to practice and appealed to the governor to look into the aspects of landscaping and furnishing of the complex.
I want to assure you that we support your administration in the peace-building processes and other programs or policies of government.
In Jos, Priscilla Rumnan, NTA News.
And that's it from Jos. Jumai is back to you for what's left of the news.
Thank you, Felicia. The federal government says it has played its part in addressing the demands of judiciary workers, but the action persists.
On the part of the federal government, on the part of the president, we have done all we can do in respect of the Jews on strike, in respect of the judicial workers and the state judiciaries. Now, what is happening is that the state governors are resisting this order. The state governors say they are not going to obey the constitution.
Minister of State, Labor and Employment Festus Keyamo speaks on one-on-one tonight.
And I think, let me just say it the way it should be said, is that the governors, they want to put the judiciaries within their grip in their different states. Right. They don't want financial autonomy because they want to manipulate the judiciary.
One-on-one at 10:30 tonight. President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the reappointment of Segun Rashewe as the Director General, National Council for Arts and Culture. A statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, said the reappointment is for another 4-year term. Similarly, Folarishaw Koka has been reappointed as the Director General, Nigeria Tourism Development Corporation, and Adedayo Thomas also as Executive Director, National Film and Video Censors Board. Mohammed Ahmed has been appointed as the Chief Executive Officer / Artistic Director of the National Troupe of Nigeria for a first term of 4 years. President Muhammadu Buhari also approved the reappointment of Nnenna Akajemele as National Coordinator and Chief Executive Officer of Savicom for a second term of 4 years with effect from April 10, 2021. And Badi is here with me in the studio to bring us the latest in the world of sports.
Many thanks, Juma, and welcome to Sports Update. Youth and Sports Development Minister Sunday Dare has activated the commencement of electioneering in all 31 National Olympic Sports Federations, except football, after dissolving their boards and setting a 3-member caretaker committee for all federations. Director of Federations and Elite Athletes Department in the ministry, Simon Ebojaye, delivered the minister's speech.
the ministry has concluded to organize elections into the federations using the Code of Governance, which is the administrative machinery.
This exercise is long overdue, given the background of the fact that there's so much ego trippings and personality clashes involving some of the principal officers of some of these federations, really bedeviling the development of such federations to the detriment of the welfare of the athletes they are in the first instance supposed to serve.
It is one thing, a right thing to do, to get those who are genuinely committed to be able to man those associations.
In the meantime, the 2021 season of the Abuja City Basketball League dunks off Saturday at the Old Parade Ground, Gariki, Abuja. 16 male teams split into summit and metro conferences, as well as 6 female teams will vie for honors over the next 4 months in home and away format.
It's all about the youths. That's all about young kids, and then taking kids off the streets and then providing a platform for them to compete and then for their games to get better.
We discovered that they train a lot and no competition to accomplish the training. And for the coaches too, they use this opportunity to the league to train themselves.
Football now. Nigeria is the Imba International. We have to overcome Pyramids FC of Egypt to advance to the semi-finals of the CAF Confederation Cup after both teams were pitted together in Friday's quarter-final draw. The first leg comes up on the 16th of May in Egypt, while the reverse fixture has been scheduled for the 23rd of May in Nigeria. And finally, Southampton and Leicester City faced off this evening in the opening fixture, match the 34th fixture of the Premier League. And as at now, the match just ended 1-0. At the 61st minute, James Ward-Prowse scored for the home team Southampton, despite going down in the 10th minute to a Yannick Vestergaard, red card. And Johnny Evans equalized for Leicester City in the 68th minute, and the spoils had to be shared there. 1-0, it ended. And that's a bit on sports. This Friday is back to Jumai.
Thank you, Bade. You can get more news and updates on www.nta.ng or follow us on our Twitter handle at NTA News Now. You can also like us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/NTA Network News. Stay connected and subscribe to our YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/NTA News Online. Also remember to watch our news live streaming at www.nta.ng/live. Now let's take a look at tomorrow's weather prospect. Well, that's Network News tonight. Don't forget to be a star with NTA as we wage the war against rape and rapists. Good night. I am Jumba Yusuf.